Unit 5.6. Again, we're going to be writing more methods. This time we'll be writing specifically these three: toString, deposit, and withdraw. But just before we do that, take a quick look at my setters. This is where we left off. You were supposed to complete these. I'm using the same dummy name as I did in my constructor for these, and I'm setting the dummy to the actual global variable, instance variable. Now, these setters and getters are also non-static. Okay, you can see here I have the non-static methods. These three are non-static because the word static does not appear. And because of that, I'm going to continue working with the non-static methods. After that, the next unit will work with static methods. First one is toString. Every object can be turned into a string, and the method that does that is toString. So when you make a class, there's a good chance you have to override this method, and the method is public, and you're returning a string because we're turning it into a string, and it's called toString. No parameters. So I need to just return any sort of information about this account. So I'm going to return the account number, and I'm just going to write them all like this, and I'm going to call this account number. So the next thing I'm going to do is keep adding on. So \n for a new line, and I'm going to return the balance. At this point, you should be able to pick up a pattern here. So I'm going to just drop these pluses down so we could just keep going. Next one I'm going to return is last name. And the next one I'm going to return is your first name. And then I'm going to return your address. I'm doing \n so you could drop to a new line. And you realize that the instance variable is on the right side and the description is on the left, \n. I think I want the phone number here. And finally, I'm going to do the email address. So now we have all of this to return, but my method is saying something is wrong here, but I just have to save so it could go away. So you could see I return all of that. So I have all the information about the account. So for this, we're just going to return these. I didn't write any comments here, but I could say that this thing returns all information about the bank account. And the specific instance as well. We could also say that we could also say precondition. We could say that these values can be default values or updated ones. Okay, so either the predefined ones from the stuff before in the constructor or the ones that we update at some point later on. Let's do deposit. It's also public. We want to gain access to this outside, and I'm going to return the balance. Right, so I'm going to update the balance as well when I deposit. Deposit needs an amount to deposit, right? So what I do is I just do the balance, and that's the global variable, plus equal to the amount. Simply update it and return the balance. That's the new balance. And finally, we need to write the withdraw. Also public. I need to withdraw an amount. So I'm going to do balance minus equals this time, the amount, and return balance. All right, let's talk about some comments here. How about these two? Okay, how about this? Well, let's go with the precondition. Precondition is that the amount must be positive, right? So we want to deposit an actual amount, and the post condition that returns the balance after adding amount. See, this is what I'm talking about when you're commenting your code. And the precondition is amount must be positive and amount must be less than the balance. Well, let's go with less than or equal to. You could take all your money off. And then the post condition is that this thing is going to return the balance after subtracting amount. So this is what I was talking about in terms of doing commenting, like we mentioned earlier. I'm doing some sentences comments, so just putting two slashes here. But the precondition is definitely talking about the parameter here. I could have done it with Javadoc with @param and make a web page or something, but here I'm just writing down what goes on. This is most likely what you'll see on the AP exam, where it writes down the precondition and post condition. And so you have to make sure that you pay attention to those because it's important. Because if this thing was negative, we would actually be adding, right? So we can't subtract a minus is adding, so we'll essentially be depositing in the withdrawal, which is kind of not nice. So right now, that's the three non-static methods in this unit 5.6. We look at static methods in the following unit, unit 5.6. That's a wrap.